Hello and welcome to Automate Code. I'm going to discuss some basics of performance testing in this video. When an application comes for performance testing, when we do performance testing on a web application, one of the tasks that we do in the beginning of the performance testing is single user baseline bandwidth analysis. So that is the term. I will write it as, let me write the term here. I am telling it is single user baseline bandwidth analysis. So what is that? Single user bandwidth analysis is we analyze the application's performance with a single user. So let me start discussion, and we'll discuss everything step by step. So what I'm doing here, I have three test cases here. So these three test cases I have taken from newtools.aot.com, and I will do single user bandwidth analysis for one of the user, and then for one of the test case, and the remaining two test case will be your homework. Now in the first test case, what I'm doing, I'm going to this website, and then I'm clicking on register menu, and then I'm inputting the information and then submitting that form. And let me tell you is I'll be analyzing the application performance using a web debugging tool called Fiddler. So the purpose of the single user bandwidth analysis is to see, without any load, without any precondition, how the application behave with a single user. So that means if an application doesn't perform good with a single user, then definitely it needs to be fixed first before any further testing. So in the beginning of the performance testing, we do that single user bandwidth analysis. Now we will be using, as I said, Fiddler for bandwidth analysis, and Fiddler is a web debugging tool, and it is used to proxy web traffic. And basically what it will do, if you go to a website, it will be proxying the traffic through Fiddler. So here I'm going to delete everything what I have. So what I did, I click on the link and click on delete. So Fiddler has certain part here, and when you download and install Fiddler, the first thing that you do, you go there in Fiddler options, and in the Fiddler options, if you go to Fiddler options, if you go to HTTPS traffic, you select the decrypt HTTPS traffic if you want to proxy traffic from a secure site. So other than that, you can go to internet and you can search download Fiddler, and you can download and install Fiddler from there. Now let me go to what I want to do. Let me start Internet Explorer browser. So notice one thing, that when I have started IE, and then IE is starting, but while IE is starting, you will see like it will be coming with a default page, right? You can see, and it is coming with a default page while I'm getting the traffic here. Now let me go to IE. You can see it brought the Yahoo page, and in the meantime, when it was opening Yahoo, you can see that it has proxied some traffic here in Fiddler. So that is what Fiddler do. Whatever you are doing in the browser, Fiddler is going to proxy that traffic through its proxy system. Now let's say I don't want this traffic here, because I want to measure the performance, or I want to measure the utilization of the website that we have talked about. So what I'm going to do, before I start doing that, I'm going to clear all the browser history from here. So I'm going to click delete, and then I'm going to click here. So the purpose of deleting all the history from this one, to make sure that the application that we are going to analyze through Fiddler, that application doesn't have any cache or any history, browsing history. Because if you have a browsing history of that application, what it will do, it will be taking some of the content from the cache, or and we do not want that. We want to measure everything from scratch. Now I already cleared everything from there. Now let's go to Fiddler, and in Fiddler I don't need this traffic. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click Ctrl A, and then I'm going to click delete. Then let me go to there, and let me start that browser that I wanted to open. So I wanted to open that browser, so I'm clicking open, and then you can go there. Where is my Fiddler? If you come to Fiddler here, so this is my Fiddler. Now let me do one thing. See, this request I have got from which request? I got this one from opening application. Now if you take a look here, this is all this request that I achieved from opening application. I'm going to, like, I selected all these requests, and then I'm going to right click, and then can you see comment? I'm going to click on comment, and then I'm going to say this one, I'm going to give a name. So this one again, if you take a look here, if you take a look at my test cases, this is test case 01. So I'm going to take this test case name, and then I'm going to go to, let me remove this so that I don't need this here. So my Fiddler is here. Now I'm going to go there, and I'm going to name it as TC01, and then 01, and what is the operation that I did? Open application, right? I commented it out. I just make sure that these requests that I get here in Fiddler, it is from opening application. Then my next task is to click on that register link. So when I clicked on that register link, let me go there in Fiddler. So I got this request from generated. So this is again, this is 0102. So this is second transaction of test case 01. So I'm going to make it like, let's say, click on register link. Okay, and then let me go to, so see, sometimes you see you are not doing anything, and it will be generating extra load, and you can see we are testing on newtors.demo ut, but can you see it is Nexus Office Apps. I have Microsoft Office open, so some of the requests are coming from Microsoft Office. So what I'll have to do, these are extra requests. How will you identify extra request? Here, look at under host, you will see Nexus Office Apps, and here under URL you will see Office Apps. Can you see? So you don't want them in your Fiddler case, it will give you correct data. Then the next task for me is to input this information. Let's say automate code, and then let's say LMC, and then let's say our contact number is 2234, and then 567, and then 0980. And then here, let's say our address is Global Mall, and city is Northwest, and let's say our state is Georgia, and our zip code is 30071. And here I'm going to mention a username. Let's say I'm going to give a username automate code 12. Remember that automate code 12. I want to show you something later on. And then let's say I'm going to give our regular password L uppercase 1 2 3 4 5. It is L uppercase 1 2 3 4 5. And then I'm going to let me check if I have any extra other request. There is no extra other request. How will you know that? You will see your comment. Okay, you have comment up to that part. That means this is for clicking on register link, and after that no more requests have been generated. So I'm going to submit this registration, and when I have submitted that registration, notice one thing, that your username is automate code 12. Remember this text. So when I have submitted that registration information, the application give me a feedback saying that your username is automate code 12. Then let me go back to my Fiddler, and here I'm going to comment, and then what is that? This is my test case, and what is the transaction? This is transaction 3, and what is the import info and submit. Right. So I have these 3 steps in my test case. Now I'm going to stop capture so that it doesn't capture any more data for me. So I got the capture, and I have accordingly I have commented out each of the steps. Now what I'm going to do, if I close this, then all of this capture will be gone. So what I want to do, I want to save this capture somewhere in my hard drive. Now where I will save it, I will save it to a specific location where I want to do that. So I want to save it in there, and then I have captured another place in the previous time. So I'm going to save it here. Let's say I have already saved something, so I'm going to save it today's date. What is today's date? Is 11, and this is today's first recording. So I'm going to save it, right? So now if I close it, and then later on if I start Fiddler, and then from Fiddler I can, let me delete everything that I have, and let me load archive, and by loading archive I can go to there, and then from there I can go to that folder where I have saved it, and Fiddler cases, and remember that I have saved it here, this one. So I can open it from there. Now I don't want to mix this capture with any other thing, so I'm going to click select. I'm not mixing anything with this one, so I'm not capturing anything more. Now let me tell you one thing. So in this left hand side, this is the menu bar, and some tools here. You can see that this is what type of HTTP request. 200 means redirection, and then 404 means we will tell more information about 404. This is a problem. And then you have protocol. What is the protocol? HTTP. And then what is the host means where are these requests going. All of the requests that we are submitting, there is a, for that application there is a server called new tools demo AUT. So all of the request is going to this server, and these are the, with this server, these are the URLs that is being added with this URL, and then you can see that size of the request, and this is our comment. So in this part, in the left hand side, you are seeing all of the requests that is being generated when you are using that application. Now let me show you one other part here. If you click on a specific request, and then if you come here, let's say inspectors, you will see there are two sub window here, two frame in the window. One is the top part we are calling request, and the bottom part we are calling response. So what does this request and response means? Remember, we have in the last transaction we have input some information and submitted it. So these are the requests that we have in the Fiddler. But what we were doing, we were inputting the information in that form, and once we have submitted it, we got some response. Now if you take a look here, let's say it started from here. So if you click on here, and then if you go to web forms, let me go to web forms, and then can you see we have input a first name and then a last name, we have given a number, and then we have given our address, and then we have given automate code 12, and then we have given a password, right? So this is where actually when we are inputting the information on a HTML form and then we are submitting it, that is, we are sending some data from this computer to the server. So what data we are submitting? We are submitting this data, this list of data. Now this is called request. We are making request to the server with what? With some data. These are the data. Now when we are we are making request, so this is where we are making request, and can you see 302? That means it is a redirection, and it is going to the server, and in the server, in response, when you are submitting this form, in response, server is going to reply us with some more data. Now if you take a look here, if you go to the application, can you see server responded us with this data? Note, right? Now if you go there, and if you I copied whatever I have in the response. Now if you go there in Fiddler, and if you press Ctrl F, or if you say right click, I think you will have a okay, let me do it that way. Ctrl F is a pen. Now if you do this, your username is automate code 12, and then now if you select, let's say you will have to decompose from compressed content. If your content is compressed here, like when server is responding to you, if the response is compressed, you want it to be decoded. And then can you see result highlight yellow? So if this data is found in any of the requests, result will be highlighted to yellow. Now can you see it is showing me that from these requests we are getting that text. Now for that one, can you see this is the request, we are not sending any data. But if you come here in the response, now see this is the response window. If you select raw, now if you search it here, can you see it is actually the actual code of the page, and in the response you can see that Dr. Automate Code LLC. Can you see Dr. Automate Code LLC? And then if you come here in the actual page, right, if you come here in the actual page, can you see Dr. Automate Code LLC? And then in the response you can see that your username is automate code 12, right? So in that way, we search something in the response. Now how do you do that? So this is the part in the left hand side where we can see all the requests that are being generated when we are using that web application, and the top part is the request. When we are submitting some data to the server, we are submitting a request, and the request will be displayed here, and in the bottom part, whatever response we are getting from the server, we will get it in the bottom part. That is what we are calling response. So request, response, top part is request and bottom part is response. When you are submitting some data to the server is responding you, and you will see the response here in the bottom part. Now we will start our bandwidth analysis. But before we go to bandwidth analysis, let me show you. I have a tabular format here to present my result, like what I'm getting from the bandwidth analysis. Now let me give a name here. So we have TC TC01, right? So this is test case number 01, and let me see if I have any test case name up there. So I have a test case name. Right. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put the test case name here. I have to move that one a little bit down. Okay. And then what is my test case name? I'm going to put the test case name here, and let me do remove all the spaces in between. Okay, and let me remove all the spaces here. And click here, remove space, select everything, and here I'm going to. Now can you see this is 01? I have an open application, and now I have two parts, byte set. Now let me give you more expansion on this. So for opening application we have that many requests, right? Now can you see for TC01 opening application? Now if you click on statistics, right, you can see that for opening application bytes sent, can you see 8816 bytes? So 8816 bytes. Okay, let me go to my byte sends means 8816. Now if I go to my document here, that means bytes sent 8816 bytes. Now we'll have to convert it to kilobyte. Now how do you convert it to kilobyte? This is bytes. Okay, so if you want to convert it to kilobyte, you will have to, let me go to calculator and let me divide that. So this is the number of byte. Now if I go to my calculator, right, and paste it here, let me remove it, cancel. I'm going to paste it here. Now if you want to convert byte, let me give you another statistics here. It is just info for information purpose. 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte, and 8 bits equal to 1 byte, and then 1024 KB or kilobytes equal to 1 megabyte, that means 1 MB. So this is just for your information, and this is not that you will have to put it here. I'm just putting it for your information. Now let me move it a little bit down, and let me put this information up here, and then let me scroll it a little bit up, and yeah. Now let me cut this, let me move that one a little bit down, and then let me put it, yeah. Now for opening application we have seen that it took 8816, like we have sent 8816 bytes to the server. Now what is that one in kilobyte? So divided by 1024, so that means we have sent 8.6. So we have sent 8.6 KB kilobyte. And then if you go to your Fiddler, you can see that how many bytes were received from the server, that many bytes. So you go there in your calculator and paste it here and divide it by 1024, and you see you have received 64.08 byte. 64, I will keep it, probably I will not take the fractional 64, I will say 64 kilobyte. Now if I come here, so it will be 64 kilobyte, and that one is 8.6, that means I'll make it 9. And then for click on register menu, so if you go to your Fiddler, click on register menu or link, for this one, how many? Oh, one other thing I need to show you. So if you go there, can you see the duration? The duration is less than sequence clock duration. The duration is less than a second. So I'll say, in the, it took less than a second for the page to appear, so I'm going to put it here. So less than a second. Okay, and then if you come here in Fiddler again, let me see the next transaction. I have this many requests and it took 2904 byte was sent to the server. So I'm going to do a quick calculation. 2904 divided by 1024, I'm converting it to kilobyte, so it is 2.83, that means 3 kilobyte. So I'm going there, I'm going to put we have sent 3 KB of data, and how many kilobyte of data we have received. Let me go there, and we have received 31,000 some bytes of data. I'm going to go to my here and paste it divided by 1024, and it is 30.6, that means 31 KB. So if I come here, I'll put it here that we have received 31 KB from the server. Now when we are submitting that input data and submit, then let me go to, let me see. So it took how many seconds? It took 0.531 seconds, so less than 1 second. So I'll do, let's say I'll go there and actually I'll do in that way. I'll say it is, again I'll say this one, I'll specifically mention less than 1 second, and then here I'll go and I'll say less than 1 second, and then the input data and submit. For that one, for the last one, if you go to Fiddler and input data and submit, so input data and submit, when you are inputting data and submitting that form, it took, that is the number of bytes that we have sent to the server. I'll go to my calculator, so paste it here divided by 1024, and it is 2.4. So if we come here, so we have sent 2.4, means less than 3, so I'll say 3 KB. Actually I can put around 2 KB. And then here, how many data we received from the server? We have received, let's say, by 1024 9. So if we come here, so it is 9. Now 9 KB, and then this is 9 KB. And for that one, how long it took? It took around 1 second, again less than 1 second. So I'll go to there, and then I'll be putting it here. Right now, let me tell you. So when you are submitting a request to the server, then if you work with a customer facing application, normally from the performance team we recommend around 50 kilobyte of data will be, you can go up to 50 kilobyte. If you see your data is more than 50 kilobyte, you want to let the development team know that you are sending too much data, see what you can do to minimize it. So the summary is, if your data go to more than 50 kilobytes, sometimes some of the development team they might allow 100 kilobyte, some of the development team, some of the team might allow 150 kilobyte, but if the application is customer facing, then you want to send like, you do not have to send more than 50 kilobyte. I'll tell you why. And then here you can see byte received from the server, recommended is up to 300 kilobyte, right? Up to 300 kilobyte. So the purpose here, we are putting a limit, like how many data we can send to the server, how many data we can receive from the server, because even if you have a mobile device, if you access the application from mobile device, you have data cap. Let's say you have 1 gigabyte of data that you can use per month. Now when you are using an application, and that application, if you submit a request and then that application will return too many data to your mobile device, that means you are using your data, too much data, and then you will see after 10 days you don't have any more data. So that's why, if your application is customer facing, you want to keep the size of the data when you are submitting to the server and receiving to the server limited, so that it becomes user friendly. It loads, like if you are submitting less data and receiving less data, the page will be loaded quickly. If you submit too much data and receive too much data from the server, the application under load, the application will be performing bad. So that's why you want to keep this size of the data when you are submitting a request, and when you are receiving data from the server, you want to keep it as small as possible. And then response time, normally recommended response time for a single user for every transaction, it should not be more than 2 seconds, but there could be exception for some transaction, but recommended is for a normal request, it should not be more than 2 seconds, right? So we can see that for the first transactions it is less than 50, and here byte received is less than 300, and recommended response time is 2 seconds. If you take a look here, from the when you will work as a performance engineer, you will get test case from the business team that you need to write a script for, and then they will mention what is the target response time they are looking for. So they'll give you a time, what is the time the page should be load. So they are saying that within 2 seconds if the page loads, and then we are good. So I'm going to go there, so I can see that it is less than 1 second, so I can say this is fast. If it is fast, I don't have any comment. And then here it is again less than 50, here it is less than 300, less than 2 seconds, and it is fast. Here it is less than 50, here it is less than 300 and less than 1 second, and I can say it is fast. So that test is fast, right? So similar way, if you see something is failing, you will be mentioning here, okay, this is failing, and this is failing because you are submitting more than 300 kilobyte of data, or it is taking more than 2 seconds. You will be putting a comment here in this box. Now this is fast. Now following same way, we will be writing the bandwidth analysis for the remaining two test cases. But before I move forward with the further discussion, let me show you one thing. Can you see this red request? And if you come here, if you select web view, and you will see that those red is showing you page not found 404. We do not want to see any 404 in an application. When you are performance testing, you do not want to see any of these one. So you can see that it is again all of this is request, showing a 404. That means it is like, when you cook in the kitchen, you keep your kitchen clean. When you are done, you keep your kitchen clean. So the developers who were working in this application, when they were working, they have some unnecessary calls to the server, and then those calls probably they no longer need it, or those files are not available. So if these calls are not necessary, they need to remove it, and if they want to keep it, they will have to have those resources. Like, can you see, we are pulling a GIF file from the server, right? So these things, if they do not want them, we are pulling a GIF image here. If they do not want these files, they need to take these out. Like when we debug through the Fiddler, I should not see any kind of this red request here that is showing 404. So when you are doing bandwidth analysis, it is your responsibility to let the development team know that you are making some unnecessary calls, or you are missing some of the resource that you need, and those resource we are not getting it. Although we are not seeing this in the front end in the application, but there could be somewhere some images are missing, and then because of those images are missing, we are not getting them. So what you need to do, you need to report it to the developers so that they can remove these unnecessary calls, or if they want to put corresponding, if they want to display corresponding image, so that they put the image in the right place, so that I don't see any not found. So what you do in order to report this to the developers, you take a screenshot, and also you send this Fiddler trace as an attachment in the email, so that they can go through this Fiddler trace. So if you go there, you say here, please take a look at the Fiddler traces where we are getting a 404 is not found. If we do not need these resources, we can remove them. So, and then put a screenshot. So these red, then their responsibility will be to take out these red requests, and this sometimes these unnecessary calls generate generate longer response time. So if they take this one, it's better. Okay, now when you have this document, you send it to the developers. Now, so that is how you prepare a bandwidth analysis report and send it to the development team. If you see anything greater than 300 here, you report it. You need to make it shorter. Okay, if you see anything more than 50, so 50 is a standard, let's say, for our team. But if you go to another team, it could be 100 kilobytes. Depends on how the application is used. So if the application is used from the customer side, that is general customer, then you want to keep it as small as possible, and you want to keep this response time as small as possible, right? And let me show you one other thing here in the Fiddler trace. Like if you take a look here, let me make this URL bigger, right? And then let me see if there is any kind of JavaScript or anything. So I cannot see any kind of JavaScript in this page, or I'll just see some images. Now if you see any JavaScript, okay, if you see any JavaScript, that is JavaScript with that will be ending with .js, then you want to come here in the transformer, and then you want to see, can you see the let's say this one, this request the size of that request is 334 bytes, and you can see that it is not compressed. That means they didn't compress it. But if they can compress it, let's say ggip encoding, can you see the size is dropping down by around 100 bytes, right? And same thing applied here. If you click on this one and click on transformer, there is nothing here, that's fine. But if you, let's say we come here, can you see the size of that one is without, they didn't compress it, so the size is 27,148 bytes. So but if they compressed it, it will be only 5,000 bytes. So in that way, from the development end, by compressing the code that the developers can compress, then the request size can be smaller and then performance can be optimized. So this thing, if you see any JavaScript that is not compressed, you can recommend them. If you have larger volume of data that you are sending, you can recommend them, hey guys, could you compress these things so that our request got smaller, and that will help us improving our performance. So yeah, that is how you do single user bandwidth analysis. In the next class, we are going to develop script using HP Load Runner. So we are going to use HP Load Runner to develop our performance or load testing script, and we'll do a lot of exciting things. And that's it for this tutorial. I don't want to make it too long, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to make more videos for you guys. Keep watching our channel and our script, our website. My YouTube channel is, if you go to YouTube, right, and then this is our channel here. So I would say you keep visiting here. I am posting all of the videos for the performance testing here under this section, my videos, where I am putting all of the performance testing videos. So keep watching it, and if you go to the playlist, you will see I have a load runner and performance testing playlist. You can watch all of my videos from there. And also I'm posting these videos in qaquestions.org. so if you come here, and then if you all the videos that I prepare, I post in this site. If you come here, you can go to load runner tutorials, and you'll see all of the videos are there. Again, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you in the next class. Thank you. Bye.